1, 2.
Welcome to TVI episode 209.
219 Stockton, big up.
That's
the UFC, the Diaz brothers always say 209
Oh,
Stockton.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. What, they say their postcode?
Yeah, like as in the games.
It's a bit nerdy, really.
Yeah, they're geeks, man, them too.
Anyway, joined by one of the first comedians I ever saw, Andrew
Was I?
Bird. Yeah, mate. You did. No, it was a PJ gig.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know why everyone instinctively laughs as soon as you say
He taught me on stage once, saying, I don't know if he's shit or not.
Yeah.
And just walked on.
We'll talk about PJ because people won't know who PJ is. Most of our
People should
listeners.
know.
He's a good guy, isn't he?
Lovely guy.
Just
but
in case he's listening.
it was. I think it was what was the Jack Beard's pub in Tooting.
Oh, yeah.
And it was you. I think it was either you, Al Murray. You were so new.
Yeah.
And it was just a gig around the corner from my house. So I went
It
and
used
watched.
to be quite rough, that pub, didn't it?
It was rough.
Because I knew the people who run that pub for a while, and they said that a lot of travellers come in and cause a lot of trouble.
We used to drink in there a lot growing up. And you couldn't get barred from it. My mate once, while we were just pissed and having a
tried
laugh,
hard.
and just pulled a fire extinguisher off the wall, one of the CO2 ones, and just let it off in my face on the dance floor. And literally, like, the bouncer was
part
like,
of the
"Come
new
on, mate,
dance move."
That's a bit out of line. Like, just got a bit of a talking to. Like in a pub now.
Me, don't.
If you set off a fire
Don't
extinguisher in
fire
someone's
guns at people's
face,
faces.
you would get kicked out.
That's a worry in a pub, isn't it? When you're stood there going, I don't think we can get barred from here.
Yeah.
That rough.
That means they can't get barred.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, if we can't get barred.
But it was rough. But now it's called the Antelope, and it's a really nice gastro pub. But yeah, I saw you. I'm
That you're
pretty
barred
because I
from.
saw you twice, right, when I was really new. Well, I didn't say really new. That one in Jack Beard I hadn't started yet, and I think the second one I saw you at the Watershed in Wimbledon I hadn't started yet either.
Oh, yeah.
One of them was with Harry Hill as headliner. One of them was with Al Murray.
So what you're trying to say is I'm an inspiration
Absolutely.
/ role model.
Yeah, all those things.
about
And then
time
when I
this happened.
started, it turned out we had a joint friend who I grew up with,
Yeah.
who you then worked with at the Bedfords
Yeah, and lived with.
and lived with.
I remember him elbowing me, going, "Someone I went to school with's doing the new act night."
Yeah.
And one of the great things about you, Carl, if you laid out all the photos of you over the years, you are unrecognisable now to what you look like then. It's literally you and Bowie.
Madonna.
I've got all those.
It's like a
different-
shark, mate. I'm always moving forward.
Yeah.
Never stay still.
I remember doing that gig at doing PJ gigs early doors. Like we were saying, he's a good person, PJ. He means well, but he'll get you gigs, and then for ages he said
I'm
to
only
me,
saying that for the pod in case he hears it.
"Oh yeah, we'll slag him off."
Yeah,
after."
yeah,
But-
yeah. He stabs me.
But he'll get you an open spot in a horrendous gig to 3 people he's forced to be there who look really uncomfortable. And then he'll hold it over you for the rest of your life. Still now, he says, "I brought you down from Northampton to London." Like, I don't remember you paying for the train fare, PJ.
Come on, mate. I gave you some of your first gigs. But
I pulled you out the gutter.
First time I met PJ, for listeners, for people that don't know, he's sort of a legend of alternative comedy. He went by the name Robin Banks. He played the first ever night at the Comedy Store.
Did he? Yeah.
And he was an alternative comic.
It was Jack Whitehall's agent, wasn't he, for about a week?
He has an amazing eye for comedy. Like,
He does.
even though he's now probably about 125 years old. But he's lovely. But the first time I met him, I had a ding dong with him. Like, we had a proper argument because I didn't know who he was. I just saw this guy look like he used to have a joke about looking like a fat Steven Seagal because he had like a ponytail.
Oh, yeah.
And always like he had the old, I know what you're thinking, Steven Seagal's let himself go.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I just added
That was his
fat in.
I never said fat.
But he's God, I just want to call you about that.
You know,
thing you said.
fat, ugly, fucking. I love that bit you used to do. You know, the fat, repulsive, dirty Stephen. No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, sorry, I must have added some bits. But I didn't know he was a comic. He was just at the gig. It was a new night at the Bedford.
Yeah.
And I went on, and it was like literally probably my 5th gig or something. And after I came off, it went well. And then suddenly, just this little bloke with a
telling you what you're
ponytail
doing
wearing
wrong.
a black suit walks up to me and goes, I just want to give you a bit of advice about it. And he just gave me advice about my set. I was like, who the fuck are you, mate? Yeah. And I was like, I'm all right, mate. I think I know what I want to do with my jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't want any advice. I was very pretentious when I started that. I was like, I'm going to do this all on my own. I don't want any advice or nothing. And so I sort of went like, oh, yeah, I don't give a shit, mate. I don't want to hear your advice. And he had to go at me for being like, you know, do you think like, you know, if you're new, you should be willing to take advice. And then so I just thought, who's that div? And then somebody told me who he was. I was like, I don't give a fuck who he is. Yeah. And then just next time I saw him, like, you know, I just sort of got to know him a bit. And over time, I really grew to get on really well with him. And I still see him, like, semi-regularly now. Yeah. We go for a beer about once every 6 months. Me and him he'll come to a gig and we'll just go and get pissed. It's really fun.
It's exhausting to talk to, though.
Oh, I love him.
He can't hear properly.
I know, yeah, he's half deaf, yeah. You've got to sit on the right side of him. One of his ears is deaf.
Yeah, so a lot of it, like, and Andy, he mumbles so much you can barely hear him. So it's a bit of effort.
But it's really funny.
Hassle,
Last time, I went for a beer with him a couple of months ago. I did the Vauxhall Comedy Club, and then he was there. So we went, let's go for a drink afterwards. And we had a drink there, and then it shut early for a private party. So it was like 10 p.m, and I said to him, should we go to another pub? And he goes, yeah, I'll tell you another pub. Let's go in. And like we started walking, and then suddenly we're going towards a tube. And I went, we're not going to a pub. He goes, no, we'll go to another pub en route. And like, because he lives en route back to where I am, I was like, right, we'll get on the tube. Maybe we'll go for one in Clapham where he can just walk home and I can head home south. And we're about to change at Stockwell. And he goes, no, sit down. And I was like, what are you doing? He goes, let's go Brixton. I was like, what? And he goes, I'll take you to a nice pub. He took me to Wetherspoons in Brixton. That was the nice pub he'd taken me.
I know this little place.
A little independent pub that only he knows about.
He will go to a pub based on price. Yeah. I mean, he loves a cheap beer. He once came, and very recently came to the backyard because I was on, and he rather than get a beer there, he kept nipping out to the off license and he'd buy a beer and drink it outside and then come back into the gig.
Wow.
But Leos loved that.
Leos invented that. But I did PJ, it was like some of my first ever gigs. He was there, and then he got me to come and see Al Murray at the Bedford at the Banana. That blew my mind.
Oh yeah,
I was a massive fan of Al Murray, and then I started working at the Bedford. Yeah, and then he's always there.
What were you doing at the Bedford?
Be on the bar. So I was already started stand up, and then moved to London and worked in one of my first ever jokes was my brother's friend moved to Colorado to do the ski season, so he gave me his job in one of the best pubs in London and his room in a house. I was like, cheers, mate. Have you got a girlfriend?
Yeah.
But that was the big opener when I started. I should use that again. Anyway, so he used to come in. He used to come in the pub quite a lot in the Bedford and go, "Who's that new girl be on the bar?" I'm like, I don't know. She just started yesterday. She doesn't know who I am. I'm like, no. We're not. When people are interviewed for a job behind the bar they'll probably last 3 months. They're not showing a photo of you. They probably should be.
Yeah. Stay away from this guy.
Showing a photo of you.
This guy and Russell Brand.
Do you know what he did to me though?
We'll talk about that.
We'll get that in a minute. You know
on our Patreon, we'll talk about that.
Do you know what he did to me? He said, one of my earliest gigs there, he was doing a charity night there on like a Tuesday, and it was Al Murray, Stuart Lee, Richard Herring.
Wow.
And a few others, like really good acts at the time. And he goes, yeah, I'm putting you on last. I barely had a 10. I was that new. I barely had 10 minutes.
It's like me now.
So he goes, I'm putting you on last. And I'm like, what? And all the bar stuff I work with at the back of the room. Going to watch a load of confrontational Aussies. Oh, you think you're funny? Let's come see you be funny then. So I've got to follow in probably my first 50 gigs Richard Herring, Stuart Lee and Al Murray when I've barely got a 10. Not only that, just before he puts them on, he goes, hold a bit back, I'm going to bring you on for an encore.
Oh my God.
And I walked on. I just remember, have you ever, you know when you walk on a gig sometimes...
I'm going to bring you on for an encore.
I've got nothing, mate.
So that's
once I finish my last joke, I've got no other words to say.
I got an encore once when I was new, and I literally had no jokes. I said no, and Adam Bloom's come off to try and get me, and I'm like, I can't. Like, there's nothing. You can't die on your encore.
Who was it that did? Somebody died on their encore once.
Oh, what, at the Comedy Store?
Yeah, who was it? Was it Mickey or someone? I heard a great story about like it took so like one of his shows. Took so long to get him back on that they'd all the piss people that were shouting to get him back on had sort of forgotten they wanted him back on. They were like, let's go and get out of here before the rush. So he's come back on for an encore, and after the people that were shouting more walking out.
Less.
McIntyre had a thing about where he went off for an encore. in like a big theatre show or arena, and he just lost his bearings and was going to stand behind a drape at the side, lost his bearings and stood in the wrong place. So he was just in full view of the audience, and he didn't realise he was just standing there facing a curtain like the Blair Witch, and then just walked back on.
Oh, shit.
But as soon as I walk on stage, I'm immediately going, what encore? What do I do there?
Yeah.
Those gigs where you immediately start sweating,
Yes.
and your hair products in your eyes.
Oh man.
And that happened. That was the gig where it was for his son's autistic.
Yes.
And he's
Whose son?
PJ's son's
Okay.
autistic. So he walks, he introduces Al Murray, and then he takes as long as he can to walk off the stage, so he can just sort of be on the same stage as Al Murray for as long as possible. And Al Murray goes, "All right, PJ, fuck off." Then he goes, "PJ is a man with long hair. No wonder his kids aren't normal."
God.
Silence, to be fair,
jeez.
just PJ laughing.
Yeah.
PJ pissed himself at that.
Oh man. Anyway, so you're welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
There you go. We got Lucas on the ones and twos.
San Lucas, just back from Hot Water Comedy.
Yeah, it was
Oh
good.
yeah,
Smashing
your
it
first
up.
time up in first gigs in
time up
Liverpool ever.
north. Yeah, man.
First time up north.
Yeah.
First gigs ever out like north.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Holy shit.
Ate shit, man. No, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we heard, man. Yeah, Binty called. Yeah,
Paul Smith's talking about it on stage. But
he's doing
Now
a
on
bit
YouTube. It's
about
on
you.
YouTube.
He's doing a bit about your gig. It's
So,
going really well. His
how, were
bit.
you one of the other only London acts, or was it?
No, there was one other London act,
What were their names?
but a guy, you wouldn't know him, but it was like a new act night.
right.
So it was like people who haven't been going that long.
Right.
But
I
I
wouldn't
think
know.
I'd been going longer than most of the acts there, so I
you
did all right by
Wiped the
comparison.
floor with them.
Yeah, I was on
Yeah.
in the first half as well.
Nice.
Did you do the best out of everyone?
That's what people were saying.
Were they?
By people, I mean my
What, you were-
girlfriend.
and your
She
parents.
loved
She
it.
said it twice.
Yeah.
So that counts as people.
Yeah, exactly. No, a few people came up and they said they really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's
nice.
good, man.
Lovely.
Well done.
Thank you.
And well, I mean, we should probably address the big news of the week, seeing as we're recording this week.
Yeah.
We're
We
going to
did,
have
didn't
some
we?
chats.
We just did, didn't we?
Yeah, we done.
That's the big comedy news.
It'd be weird not to talk about it briefly.
Should we save it for our patron, do you think?
Well,
Just so
we should also
I
just.
could not hold back.
What are you planning?
Yeah.
Oh, how are you planning to hold
I
back?
think someone needs to defend him.
It's mad, isn't it? Like I've
Only
got to
he
say, because
held
obviously we're
back.
talking about the Russell Brand Dispatches documentary.
Yeah.
Were you gigging when it was all going off?
Yeah. I
I mean, I knew it was going to break anyway at some point.
But no, because here's the thing. One thing I will say, I do, and again, it might be people rewriting history a bit, but like everyone's, as much as everyone's like it was an open secret, everyone knew. Like I didn't know to what extent it was.
No,
until I watched that the next day. Like I'd heard one apocryphal story about him, and I knew he was a bit of a lech and a bit of a, that sort of guy. But
I mean,
like,
he talked
I'd
about that, didn't he?
Yeah. But I'd heard one sort of story of
the
an
girl in
indiscretion.
Edinburgh that time.
I don't know where it happened. I just heard a story about something he did which overstepped the mark, and basically. But that's all I knew. So like, when people are like, everyone knew everything, I didn't know. It turns out either I'm naive or I just don't hang out with enough comedians. Because when I was shocked watching it, like every single like the fact that they had 4 or 5 victims come forward, and none of them were the story I'd heard. Was like, oh, it's bad. It's real bad.
I thought they would have had more on him. I mean, it was hardly like Bill Cosby level. Not that you like. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
No, but I suppose.
But it was. I don't know. Like a lot of the stuff was like in his biography anyway. It was
No,
a bit.
but not the sexual assaults.
No, not.
He did
not the
weirdly leave
actual-
those out of his book.
Not the frapes, but like they were the. There was 2 of those, wasn't there?
What?
Like
I think there was 2 people who say raped them.
yeah,
And the
Can
other
we say
ones-
raped?
Well, I mean, it's our podcast, mate.
Oh, yeah.
We can say whatever we want.
Oh yeah, I forgot I'm a CEO.
You're going to cancel yourself.
But yeah, there was other ones where it was
but
definitely
some-
still, but on the borders. of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So yes, I mean it's
But
I mean,
it's in
mad.
the police. It's in police hands now, isn't
And
it?
more, and I think the idea is obviously they've done these reporters are like, amazing at just they have to get a story so watertight that they
Dispatches
legally
are pretty
can't,
hardcore, aren't
you know
they?
what I mean? Because obviously he's been. It turns out, everyone's the rumours have always been that he's got like loads of like litigation to squash.
lawyers.
There was wasn't there a Vice documentary apparently got made a few years ago
My
that
friend got
his lawyers
interviewed
got
for it.
stopped.
Oh, really?
So like obviously he's been like using lawyers to cover up any allegations, right?
Yeah.
So the ones that have come out in this documentary have got to be so like legally watertight that there's no room for them to sue them. Yeah. So actually, that's the idea. Is I think what they do is they get it to that point of like this is watertight, and now that'll open up the floodgates of people coming forward and saying actually it happened to me as well. So already apparently there's been a couple come forward. So to the police that is as well.
And also about other people as well. People are coming forward now.
Well, I think so, yeah. But I do think it's I don't know. Again, it's like I think the danger is you want to get people that are doing really bad shit first. And then sort of because obviously what was it after Me Too we tried to sort of say like can everyone just wind their necks in a bit.
He chatted me up once in a bar like,
well yeah there is obviously like you don't I think it's rude for victims of actual assault if you throw in a sort of clumsy encounter with it. I think
if someone feels uncomfortable that is a thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah, but it's a thing, but it's not. I don't think you can equate.
But someone can feel uncomfortable, but the guy didn't mean it like that or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a difference between something that's like a genuine, honest mistake and somebody being a fucking lech. We all know the difference. We've sort of hung out with you enough.
Yeah.
Varies as the night goes on with you.
Once night falls.
If anything nothing will come out about me because the irony is I'm clean.
Yeah.
But
you act like a creep, but actually you're the opposite.
Exactly.
You're not hiding in plain sight. You're sort of lying in plain sight, pretending to be a fucking
I'm a good
predator.
guy pretending to be a rapist.
But actually,
they're going to do a Dispatches documentary saying I'm a virgin.
yeah, he took me back to his hotel room. Just wouldn't come near me.
Yeah. Frigid. Someone in the shadows talking about how frigid I was.
And he was paying. It was a waste of my time.
I tried to hold his hand, and he bought me drinks all night.
No, but it is that
Wouldn't
thing.
even kiss me.
But I mean, obviously he's obviously the big one. But there is going to be. I mean, I imagine there's a few
couple
other names
more
that
are
going to
blow that I've heard about on the underground.
There's but it's quite.
Say no names.
It's bad the way they immediately, like I know a well-known comedian the following Monday was telling me I had a load of interviews set up for today for some tour dates that I've got. I've had to cancel them all because
they just want to talk about that.
Well, yeah, and whatever you say, it looks bad. Like if you say, well, there's been loads of rumours, but you know, and then the headline's just he knew. Did nothing. Yeah. And it's like, you can't go to the police with a rumour. Have you ever tried to report a rumour?
Yeah.
They really need some facts.
No, but this is
There's a rumour. I put it to the jury.
Yeah. It sounds bad when you go, oh yeah, I heard rumours, like you were like covering up. But what can you do?
It's true. I mean, I've spread rumours.
Yeah.
Me and Jared Christmas once spread a rumour that Paul Chowdhury collected Paddington Bear memorabilia.
I heard that.
Yeah, we told a bunch of people on the circuit just to see if it went anywhere. And apparently it went around a bunch of people and somebody asked him about it at a Christmas party.
Oh, hang on.
And
he went, Jared told me that. Doesn't count.
But he was, Chowdhury was like, who's talking about me like this? But
no, don't do that.
Yeah, and again, it is that thing of like, you know, I find it. I mean, obviously we're talking about it now, but that's because there's room to discuss it, and you can actually sort of say and have a conversation about it. But I find it a bit cringy when a lot of comedians are giving their takes on it on Twitter and Instagram, and I've seen so many comedians just talking into the camera going, here's my thoughts on Russell Brand. It's like, I don't care about your thoughts on Russell Brand. Let's hear what the people that got affected by it are talking
when
about.
men say do better and stuff, no, you do better.
Yeah. Well, it's also
don't tell me.
Well, it's also the funny one when you know it's. I think sometimes you'll read one from. I'm not saying you'll read it from somebody you think has done anything wrong, but somebody who you definitely think has been a bit of a creep now and again. And you're like, yeah, but I've never been a creep. I'm not taking advice from you, mate.
Yeah.
I know. I'm totally clean. I reckon I've seen you be a little bit of a pissed lech a couple of times over the years.
There's been it's got better over the years. But I remember when I started, literally jonglers used to be like the end of the night music would be male comedians taking their wedding rings off and walking out.
Yeah, I mean that is one thing.
Into the
Again,
dance floor.
there's definitely been generation after generation of comedians across the board. I think have got better and nicer, and it's not as male dominated. It's not as them. Yeah, that jonglers, even like yeah. Obviously, it must have been brutal being like if ever there was one, the only female comic on the bill. Yeah. But even like, do you remember being like the new act going into a dressing room full of the old suited up bald blokes?
That's what I say. When we were like, because you started young as well.
Yeah.
When you started young, when I started, it was most lineups were mainly men in their 40s and 50s, and it was hard for female
miseries
acts
as well.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking miseries.
Yeah, it was hard for female acts, but it was also hard because when we started, there wasn't like now. Most comedians are young. It's quite normal. When I started, there was like me, Matt Kirshen, Russell Howard, Dan Nightingale, Danny Deegan. That was it.
Yeah.
So if you were on, you got it's not the same, but a similar kind of thing to a female comedian who's like, oh, what's this? I don't know if I'm going to like this.
Oh man, and you sort of got like bullied in dressing rooms as well. Like people wouldn't give you the time
I never
of day.
minded that though. It made me like. I
just sat in the corner and didn't talk to people.
But
like,
but that.
Whereas I think that it's all part and parcel of the fact that I do think the circuit is better than it was. And there's still loads of issues, but I think things are just generationally. I think people are much nicer now.
It's horrible hearing it because I think most female comedians would say, on the whole, mainly most green rooms are quite nice places to be with male comedians because when you're doing stand up, we're all on the same level. It's the great level.
Yeah.
But when you're not doing stand up, they're not on the same level. We leave the gig and they make you a fucking sandwich. You come out
You're
again.
like a constant hand grenade on this.
Yeah, but I also would say I reckon the open mic circuit is still grotty. You remember like the open mic? Well,
that's the
open mic
that's
circuit.
the place.
When I started out, that's when you met the most creeps, the most fucking
Some
weirdos.
guy books a gig.
I mean, you must get diddled every week, mate.
Yeah.
Being a little twink.
You think it's normal to just suck promoters off?
For 5 minutes. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's why it's called a 5-minute open spot.
You've got to open your mouth.
You can just email.
I mean, I don't know if it's the same. When I remember when I started, man, there were so many just sweaty weirdos on the open mic circuit.
Yeah.
It totally is. Yeah. It's like there's been like a list of people that have like gone round about people like don't book. This people because they make people uncomfortable. Like I'll always because I run an open mic gig and I always let
it's all wrong uns.
Yeah.
You take the list and book off that.
That's good. We'll just do that.
It's called the Wrong Uns. Touring it.
We're two Bob Wrong uns.
Only women allowed in the audience.
You have an headline in that.
And then I'll
say who'd be headlining. Yeah, I mean
Julian. No.
Me.
No, so I let all the female acts know like beforehand, like who's going to be on.
Bring
If
condoms.
anyone's aware.
Ask if they're on the pill just when you're booking them. Sorry.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I always thought like there's a slight level of, even though there has been and is probably, I don't know, again, maybe I'm out of the loop, but there might be some creeps knocking around the actual main circuit and in TV still. But I think the open mics, I always...
Like 1 in 10 men are probably a bit creepy, aren't they?
Is it really that high?
Probably.
I mean, I don't know.
I hang out.
I
must
don't know where I pulled
I
that
must hang out
from.
with nice people. I genuinely feel like sometimes I'm a bit naive and a little bit out the loop as well, maybe. But I remember the noticeable difference from going from doing the open mic circuit to the pro circuit. In that open mic circuit, it was so many nutters and weirdos, and like I'm not having a go, but like it was creeps, and then and then you go to the professional circuit, and obviously it's just a numbers thing. It drops, and the amount of acts, and there's a level of professionalism you needed. Yeah. And we caught the end of that period where it was very masculine and blokes in suits sort of digging each other out backstage. Yeah. And then that sort of died off, and now I feel like, I think every dressing room I've been in at like the Comedy Store, the Banana, and that in the last 4 or 5 years, it's been lovely. Really nice mix of people. Everyone's sort of cool. No one's digging each other out.
I was recently in a green room. We mentioned
stuff is nice.
we mentioned this.
So what you mean?
We mentioned this Recently, we mentioned this in the green room. We just suddenly stopped. Me and Rialina were giving each other tips on what to put in smoothies.
Yeah.
And just went, how's it come to this?
Well, I remember Sean Mio once stormed out of the Comedy Store dressing room. It's about 8 years ago. Me and Joe Lysett were talking about our favourite vegan cafes in Birmingham. And like we were just like, have you been here? Have you been here? And Sean Mio sat watching us, like so annoyed.
He's
like,
a funny guy.
He's so funny, but he's crazy.
Cracks me up, man.
And he's just staring at us talking about vegan cafes. And then after about probably 5 minutes, he just stood up and went, we used to do coke in this dressing room, and walked out.
He's a funny guy, man.
Oh, man. But yeah, that shows the difference in generations, isn't it, man?
He's probably like nearly vegan, isn't he now? I don't know. He's into his fitness and that.
Yeah, I don't know. He strikes me as somebody who'd be like carnivore diet.
He's
that fucking
just alive cows he eats.
like a werewolf.
He murders every meal.
Yeah, he'll have a regime that he's invented himself.
Yeah.
It involves blood at the very
Hunts
least.
in the city.
Yeah.
At night.
But yeah, so anyway, yes, it was a big shocking expose, and I think more will come out, and I do think some other people
More people are going to go down as well.
Do you know what's weird?
Trust me.
What's weird is there's a lot of there seems to be a pattern of people who do that and then do a lot of charity work. And
One
Watch
thing I
out
will
for
say,
them straight away.
I've always, I mean, that's what, weirdly, I mean, also there is a disappointment in it from my sense, because I know there's a lot of people now coming out going, I never found him funny and all that stuff. He was a big influence on me. I remember watching him when I was new, thinking he was incredible. He's a
talent,
his
man.
debut Edinburgh show was one of the best I've ever seen. Like, so he really, like, I was like, oh, this guy's amazing, charismatic. Like, he didn't do it like normal people, like, in terms of watching. It wasn't, because I didn't want to do jokes. I didn't want to do set-up punchline jokes. I wanted to do rambling stories and weird stuff. I just think it's shit. No, I don't
cheap.
No, it's not. It's just not how my
genius.
brain works. I can't write a joke like that. So I knew that I had to do sort of slightly more rambling stuff that goes off on a little journey. And then so I remember seeing him and being like, oh, fuck, he's just sort of chatting.
Yeah.
And then so I was a fan, and then like, so it was horrible to then, probably 5 years ago I first heard there was some check against his character.
I met him a couple of times. He was like really nice, I mean,
that's the thing. It sounds like he's a real narcissist.
But
proper
I ain't
knows
a
how to.
woman.
So but also with that, I feel like he's he knows how to manipulate people as well. It sounds
might do that.
But no, but the thing about him doing all the spirituality stuff, that's weirdly one part of his personality I never bought into. I thought I don't buy that. You cannot follow Buddhism, Zen, any of these things, and then have the ego he's got, because that's the first thing you've got to try and check off. You've got to pull back. Like, that is the whole point of it, is to lose your ego, is to sort of not have the attachment to that part of your life, and that's the thing he's most attached to.
It's going to take more than Buddha for that.
He might have read every book about it. He might have all the beads and tattoos of chakras he wants, but he's never ever, I've ever thought, done anything spiritually authentic. So like, that's, I went weirdly, and now with the benefit of hindsight, you can say that maybe he was doing all that to slightly cover up, or maybe try and
distance
atone
from
for
that
his
character,
or maybe he had a moment where he realised and he's tried to change, but you can't just change and then forget that you did all this horrible shit. You've got to do something to help the people that you did, and you've got to basically admit it. And
also, I don't like Channel 4, like the enablers as well that might let it happen.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I'm waiting to find out what happens to those people. Like
that, but what they're doing isn't illegal, so nothing bad will happen. But then they come out all like self-right. I don't know. Then they're like, they were a part of the problem.
He had what, over the years he's had what,
it's like
3 different agents.
Maxwell, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 different agents for his career, and he's had loads of TV producers. Like, I think there's a lot of people who are going to get caught up in it.
John Knoll never got any complaints, so he said on telly the other day, about Brand doing stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, but everyone who has in any way, like, is going to end up getting done for helping.
Yeah, I reckon more people will come forward and build a case in it.
Yeah, I think so. It's already with the police now, so let's see what happens.
Is that the bit where that was quite? You don't think of it like that, where he'd slept with a girl and then invited her back and then forced her the second time. It's just, I think. I'm not excusing any of it, but he must be.
Like you are.
Yeah.
That's okay.
He just must be like women throwing themselves at him all the time, and everyone saying yes to him all the time. His brain probably.
Well, that's what I reckon. It was a sociopathic thing where he almost couldn't believe they were saying no.
Yeah,
It was almost like he'd convinced himself, no, they're just messing around. Like, you know, and that's even worse that he's. Fucking,
well, it's a power thing, isn't it? Maybe that was the kink. You know, that is like rapists' kink, I guess, isn't it? Like,
God,
they like it when they don't want it.
Yeah.
So just start saying yes. Not really.
I don't think that will work. I've heard that mooted before. I don't think I'll suddenly go like, oh, I'm not into it now.
Yeah. That won't work.
But yeah, so anyway, so we'll see. More will come out, and we'll see where it goes, innit? Let's talk about nicer things. You're on tour.
Yes, right in the middle of that shitstorm. Not a great time to be a comedian.
Because so it was. I mean, it was like bloody the World Cup. The sort of like the night before, it was like the night before the World Cup last Friday, wasn't it? Where everyone was just like, "Oh my god, what's it going to be like?" There was this mad sort of expectation.
I thought there'd be loads of comics named on it, and that's why I was excited.
You were chucking names out on WhatsApp, like fucking. Oh mate, Julian was slinging them out like a net, mate. I can have some of that, mate. These are going down.
Donnelly.
I'd
go Tim Vine, Milton Jones, your big Christian ones, your big Christian hitters.
It was. But
it does show who the nice guys are as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's pretty much just us, isn't it?
Just me.
No, really.
So. People like Jimmy Carr, you know what I mean, like Michael McIntyre. I bet they're as clean.
I mean, it's sort of saying someone like Milton is a good name for like.
Milton
I think
Jones.
Milton is the most like normal comedian I've ever met. Yeah, in terms of. Like on stage, Milton Jones has the big hair and the funny shirts, and he plays that sort of wide-eyed madman. But like he off stage is just such a normal, nice family man. He's lovely. He's just
such a religious guy.
I think so.
He's
Yeah,
religious. Yeah, I did Singapore with him. Spent days with him. He's so quiet.
Yeah,
that you feel one of them people to be with, where all the onus is on you to make all the conversation. But it's not exhausting. It's quite nice. In a weird way. He's really nice to be around. I used to get the train back from football on a Tuesday. I always sat with him and had a nice chat with him. He was always good fun to be around. But there are a lot of nice comedians. I saw Hal Crutterdon the other day, and he was the same. He was kind of like, they're saying all comedians know about it. I didn't know anything about any of this. And I was like, Hal, you did 5 gigs a night. You didn't talk to anyone.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I'm not telling you a secret, mate. The most anxious man alive. He'll spurt it out on a bus. Let's see we got some questions. What is this? Why is there bumhole chat on the questions? Have you started some chat?
No. Someone had a picture of a bike in Amsterdam, and on the back light was like a little sticker, but a bum hole. So it was like the bum hole of the bike.
Oh, okay.
And it started bum hole chat. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Somebody said, "Are bumhole stickers offensive or inviting?" Was it an actual bumhole? Was it like a drawing of a bumhole?
I don't know actually. I didn't know. Couldn't tell.
Where is it? I'll try and find the picture. But oh, that's disgusting. Yeah, it's a. There we go. Sticker of a bumhole.
Oh yeah.
So but you put it on the back of your bike.
More medical than comical. That.
Should put it on the. Why don't you just put it on the back of your trousers? Yeah. So it just looks like you got a hole in
over your bum hole instead of wearing shorts.
Are they offensive or inviting? I think neither. They're just a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that I thought it was going to be more cartoonish.
I thought it was going to be cartoonish.
That's hovering some kind of middle ground.
It's really accurate.
Yeah, it's from the NHS
website.
Yeah. Have you seen them bike lights? That is, it looks like a set of balls.
Oh yeah.
No.
So you hang them off underneath of your seat,
it's a bit
and
rude.
it's a ball sack.
I wouldn't really want balls on my bike.
I've just got normal lights that flash. I don't know why. Anyone would want.
Not felt the need to bring anus or balls into it.
I don't think so. No. But yeah,
I mean, it's a step up from eyelashes on a car, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I was going to choose between eyelashes on a car or an anus, I'd go anus.
Yeah.
Anus on a bike.
Yeah, every day of the week.
Yeah, that's true.
Good band as well, anus on a bike.
Like their early work.
Before the podcast.
Do you have a bike? Because you live sort of out in the sticks.
Yeah.
Are you one of them guys that's bought like one of them $2,000 road bikes
Absolutely
and you hog up
not.
an A road at the weekend?
Absolutely not. I've never. I had a mountain bike that was given to my wife by her stepdad. So it was knackered when she got it. And I used that to ride to the train station to get the train. And then I had a hernia operation. And sometimes there's 2 stations where I live. So sometimes you go to one and then get the train back to the other.
Yeah.
So the bike was at the other one. So I just walked home and left the bike there. Had a hernia operation. So then was out of action for a while. By the time I went back to the train station to get it, one of them would have been left that long. They cut it and disposed of it.
No.
I've never had a bike since. That's me out. That's me out the game.
How did you get the hernia?
I think I've just always had it. Just a weakness in the old stomach.
I've got a little lump there. I don't know if it's a hernia or not.
Could be.
It doesn't hurt. But
Well, I didn't for ages, and it just suddenly popped out just as I was
Because what is it?
leaving for a gig.
It's like a little slit like
is
in
it
your
a vein popping out?
No, it's not a vein. It's
A lump. It's a weakness in your stomach lining where
Lining.
the stuff comes out.
Yeah, it's like almost a little bit of the wall of your stomach pushing out.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Them.
And it's
But
in
what
your
they-
balls.
the way they
I
fix
just thought I had
it,
big balls.
the way they fix it is they put a
was
mesh.
very brave.
Yeah, they put like a little mesh
Yeah, that's
in the
what I've got,
lining and
yeah.
cover it up, so it ends up creating a new lining.
When I had it done, because I was told mine was quite severe. It was quite
Yeah.
a big operation.
What did you say it was near your? What was it there further down? Sorry, did you say?
Show us.
Because I have, you say that I had mine was further down. You have ones that pop out in different. Mine was going down into my balls. So some of my
yuck.
stomach was in my balls. Looking back on it, so they yank it all up. So you're bruised. It's completely bruised. It's quite traumatic. And my ball bag was like a black eye. It was completely bruised. I've
God.
never sent a dick pic, but I'll admit to sending a photo of my. I'm a gentleman. It was just balls. So your hand is around, and it's just
Russell Brand.
completely purple balls.
Yeah.
And I've said a few people have found that funny. I've sent it to just close friends, and
Just little
every
ball
single
pic.
one of them replied, "Oh, my wife said that's rank." I'm like, "What are you showing your wife for?" I didn't send it to her.
Oh yeah, but
Send it to you.
But once you send it, it's fair game.
So every single one of my mates got that photo. Went, "Oh, look at that." But yeah, it was pretty severe. Black eye on the balls.
You're quite a fit guy, though, aren't you?
I exercise regular.
Did you boxed for a while? Did you?
Go to a boxing club once a week to exercise. Crucially, I never box anyone. It's a
Right.
solo activity for me.
Just
Yeah.
for the cardio.
It's about the fitness.
So what are you
That's
doing?
good.
Bags.
We're talking 3 rounds of skipping, 3 rounds of shadow
You're a
boxing.
good skipper.
Yeah, oh yeah. And then
You do the 1 foot, the Mayweather's.
oh yeah, 6 rounds on the bags. Finish on weights to try and bulk up because
Why don't you do weights first? Because by the time you do weights, you've
Yeah.
burnt out. So you won't, if you do
I'll give
weights
that a go.
first.
Well, cardio should be after, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely,
Or even a different day if you really want to bulk up. But I'd do cardio afterwards if I were you, yeah.
Joe, my gym's just had a makeover.
But I ain't a
they've
PT,
developed
by the
it, Tooting Leisure Centre, and they've now got, because the weights bit was all right, but the cardio bit was a bit fucked. It's a bit old fashioned. Just like it basically was just running machines. There was a stair machine, old school rowing machine. They've got a bunch of new. They've got assault bikes. They've got the skier thing, the pull down skier machine.
Yeah. I've never done
They're
that.
fucking brutal. It's like proper high intensity stuff. They've got an angled rowing machine where you're angled down like that and you're rowing up. It's brutal.
Wow.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fun.
like a waterfall.
Well, it's like, but it's also you're going up. It's like you're trying to row up a hill, up a waterfall.
Yeah, it's funny when you see other people doing that. You think, "Nah, it wouldn't be that bad," and then you do it. You go, "No, this is worse."
Yeah.
Like the running machine where you make it up a hill. That is brutal.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
The boxing, I've always loved boxing, but he made me spar with someone else once.
Were they good?
Luckily both times they were like older ex-professionals or ex-semi-pros.
Yeah.
So they were basically coaching. They were
Yes.
going, yeah, just like I said, I don't
The
think it's like
higher
this in a
level
fight.
your opponent, the almost safer you are because they know distance.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not going to knock you out by accident.
So
you know what I mean?
he said to him, "Yeah, just
I'm too strong anyway."
Just move him around,"
Oh.
which is clearly boxing
Yeah, yeah,
terminology
yeah.
for
But
don't hit him. You'll kill him.
Yeah,
Look at
yeah.
him.
Yeah,
and then the
yeah.
third time he put me in with this like 19-year-old 6'3" swinging like it's a world title fight,
Fuck it.
and he said to me, "You're the only person I've ever seen spar who did his own commentary."
Oh shit!
I was like, "What, mate? All right." I think at one point I said, "Mate, it's 10 o'clock on a Tuesday."
I got no beef.
And then I
police.
threw away the gum shield then, because you can't spar unless you have a gum shield. So I threw it away. So I'm not here to be. I've got a gig tonight. I can't have my nose over the other side of my face. But it's really. I haven't done it for a couple of weeks. I've got because summer holidays and all that. But I used to not exercise because I didn't want to waste time. So I thought I need to write.
Yeah.
Remember when you're like, I need to be writing all the time. But if you're not exercising, your writing gets better if you exercise.
Well, it's your brain just getting a bit more active. I
Yeah,
find
more
it's almost like that
oxygen.
thing of like, just go for it. Sometimes if you're trying to write something, you can't. Nothing's coming. Just go for a walk, do anything. Just do something active, and you get them.
Yeah.
You're quite prolific,
neurotransmitters
though,
going.
aren't you? Right, you're always grinding and writing and.
But it's weird that a few people have said that to me. Oh, you always do different stuff than that. But you don't feel like that yourself. You feel like everyone else is, and
That's
you're
what
not.
like drives you, I guess. It's good, isn't it?
Well, I had that thing when I started as well. It's like ridiculous now, but I had a couple of things. One, I saw someone comparing, and it blew my mind, like they were making it all up. And then saw them again and do some of the same
bit.
stuff.
That happened,
Yeah,
exactly the thing that happened to me with a guy called Drew Barr. He did this. Do you remember that?
He was. I mean, I don't care if he's listening. He was a colossal dick. He was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I know that name, Drew.
But I saw him do the same. I saw him do a bit to me. I was the target.
Yeah.
Before I'd started comedy, I went to the comedy cafe, dug me out, and I was like embarrassed, but I was like, that's pretty funny. He just did that, and then flash forward 3 years, I did my first open spot at Camden Jongleurs. He hosted before bringing me on. He did that bit with someone else. I was like, it was like watching the Matrix or something. I was like, fuck, it's all
something
alive.
I saw
Pokemon.
Kitson do that.
Yeah.
See, I remember it.
Fucking, you remember it? That was it.
Pokemon.
Oh my god.
I remember him doing that. Just like unnecessarily aggressive and unpleasant.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't like him. He was quite unpleasant and aggressive to the audience, and then bring you on.
What an arsehole.
We need to have a quick break, and then we're going to move over to the
To the
Patreon
Patreon.
chunk.
Well, we'll talk about Russell Brand in depth.
I think we've already talked about it more than we should
More
have.
to add. Patreon.com/WeAreTVI for some secrets about Lucas's
Before we do that,
past.
actually, this is the public bit. You're still on tour. Go and see you on tour, because this is the public bit. Everyone will hear this.
Oh, okay.
Just find you online, and they can go and see
Andrew
you.
Bird
How many
Comedian.
tour shows you got left?
AndrewBirdComedian.com.
Yeah, not to be confused with Andrew Bird, the American musician.
Yes.
Go and
Because
see
a
him as well.
couple of his, go see him, but don't go to me thinking you're going to
Oh
see
my
him.
God.
Because that happened a couple of times.
You had to sing.
And I've had an email.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, got about 20 something left.
20
AndrewBird.com.
left.
Great comedian.
Yes.
Thanks.
Check his tour show out. Big sellout in Sheffield.
You know fine well it wasn't.
Stop it.
Yeah, it was.
Stop it.
Hi, everybody. That's the end of the public episode.
Thanks for listening. Now, if you would like to hear more, you can go over to patreon.com/
We Are TVI. You have to put it in the search bar
because we still haven't taken it off adult
because
content.
it's triple X.
It's true. It's dirty, filthy.
Nice.
Get your willies out when you listen. But yeah, go over to Patreon, sign up. What's the tiers? I can't remember what they're. 3.
We've got £3, £5, 10 and 20.
I mean, the 20 is a joke one. £10 is sort of a joke as well.
Yeah.
£3 gets you just all the back catalogue of extra episodes and
Hours and hours
Oh, it's
and
just- I mean,
hours.
there's I don't know how I'm 100 probably
100 hours.
extra sort of episodes, and the £5 tier you get all that as well. But you also, if you wish, get to join the TVI WhatsApp group. And
You can also see the full episode or listen to the full episode with a £3 tier.
yeah. So
£5 gets you the WhatsApp group.
Yeah. Excellent. That's it. That's all you need to know. Get over to Patreon if you want more.
Thanks for listening.
Otherwise,
though.
just thanks for listening to the public episode, and we'll
Please
speak
like
again
and
next week.
share.
Yeah, give it a share, mate. Tell your friends. Tell your families. Tell your kids. Bye.